So we're starting this episode with the fact that we recorded a 15 minutes conversation, which did not record.
6 years on from starting a business. Imposter syndrome is really difficult, but I've just found like taking small steps each time towards the next biggest thing has really helped me overcome that and get out of my
Out of them have to do it.
But empathetic is a bit of a superpower that you're able to understand people, really see where they're coming from.
About that whole journey.
Oh, good question. You want all the juicy details.
We want the tea.
No.
We're the main character.
Yes, exactly.
So we're starting this episode with the fact that we recorded a 15 minutes conversation, which did not record. So welcome back, Emma.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I thank you for being patient with me, honestly. It's literally...
This is the thing, you're making things happen though. This is really exciting.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's all good.
Let's start again.
Yeah.
Emma, if this 17-year-old Emma walked in here right now, what advice would you give her?
Oh, if 17-year-old Emma walked in here right now, she would be very surprised to see me filming a podcast. So 17-year-old Emma was a very anxious, ambitious teenager. So I was really interested in studying fashion at university. My dream was to really go and build a creative career, even though nobody in my family had come from that background at all. They'd all had very normal jobs. So going into the fashion industry where it felt a little bit more uncertain was very, very unusual. But I just had this desire to want to go and do something like that. But at the time, I was very, very anxious, struggling to leave the house because of panic attacks. So trying to match my dream with the reality of what I was experiencing was really difficult. But I was really lucky to have family that were really supportive of my dreams and my ideas and kind of pushed me to say, let's just go and see what happens and try and explore something that you want to do. And I think having that support was really helpful for me to actually see that it was a possibility as well. So yeah, 17-year-old Emma would be very interested to see me recording a podcast now and see the fact that I'm 6 years on from starting a business. But I think it would be amazing to them to see that that was a possibility for a career, because I never really thought of life after university. I didn't really know what that was going to look like. And it's very different to probably how I thought it would play out as well. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what's happened so far.
So 17-year-old Emma was doing fashion.
Yes. Well, I was studying biology, history and art and design at college, and I'd applied for uni to go and study fashion design and ended up following that path. But I was very kind of ambitious, wanted to study loads of different subjects, learn as much as possible, really push myself. And I think that's been something that I've had throughout my whole career, is really trying to see what's possible and try and see what I could achieve if I put my mind to it as well. So that time period definitely built that work ethic that I have now to help me build the businesses that I've had.
Yeah, 100%. So maths, biology, and then fashion, like pulls of work. When did you think that you were into that creative side of things?
So I've always been creative and I've always loved art and design. I've always liked writing. I've always liked creating things. I think history and biology were my safety net. They were like the academic safety net. Like, oh, well, if this doesn't work out, you can go down these routes. But I was speaking to somebody about it recently, and they kind of framed it in a way that I'd never thought about it before, that history is very much studying people. You've got biology, which is learning about systems and processes. And then you've got art and design, which is more creative. And I think having the combination of all those three has probably really helped me set myself up for running a business. So yeah, I think it's like how my brain works in different ways.
That's really nice. That's really nice. So while being creative, going into fashion, what was the first thought when the first instinct that you picked up that, no, I am an entrepreneur? Or that's the route for me?
So I think I first really thought about entrepreneurship when I decided to take a placement year at university. So I had the option either to go into industry, do an unpaid fashion internship, move to London, move to Manchester, do something like that. I heard loads of horror stories from previous students about that experience. So it kind of put me off, and I wanted to explore what it would be like to work for myself. And I'd had little side hustles along the way. Like at 16, I started sharing my designs on like Redbubble. Then I started Etsy later and selling prints. So I dabbled in entrepreneurship, but never really framed that in my mind as like, that is what it is to run a business. So when I saw the opportunity to do a work for yourself placement year, I thought this is a good opportunity to test this out. Should be relatively safe. Like I've got the support of the university to do that too. So went into that in 2019 and set up my first business, the Calming Club. And that is a self-care stationery brand that helps people with anxiety. So inspired by my own experience with that. And that was really combining my creativity and interest in that, but also wanting to have an impact too. So yeah, that was the first time I really explored.
That's really interesting because not a lot of universities give you the self-employed option.
Yes.
But that's really nice. That should be something that every student should be able to do because you never know what's going to come out of it.
Absolutely. And I think I didn't realize like how many transferable skills you can learn from starting your own business as well. Like you have to manage your own time, you have to do all the admin, you have to make your own opportunities. So I think at the time I was struggling to see like, oh, am I missing out on going into industry? Am I going to regret that later? When actually it set me up for learning so many different skills that I could apply to so many different areas. So yeah, it's a really interesting option.
Built multiple businesses at this point. In 2025, you've got multiple businesses.
Yeah.
Let's start with what's one advice that everybody gives everybody when they're starting a business, which is an absolute fail.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's not written here.
That is a very good question. One piece of advice. I would probably say, there's so many different things that I feel like I've heard over the years, and I'm trying to think of which one is the best one to go for. I think people try and rush, and I think people try and move very quickly, maybe look at getting investment straight away, like how can we make this as big as possible? And it depends on what industry you're in. But I'd say like just figure out your minimum viable product first before you try and take on people like investors, a team, start hiring people. You really need to test out whether your concept works or it doesn't work before you do that. And make sure you are hiring the right people that you want to work with too. Like it's taken me 6 years to get to a point where I'm actually taking people on in the business now that I trust and feel like will help me move forward. And I definitely think I wouldn't have had that before if I tried to do that within year 1 or 2 of starting the business. So I'd say don't rush it. Like it's going to take longer than you think it's going to. And don't necessarily feel like you have to take on investment to make it happen. Just see how you could work and make it yourself first and then get people on board to help you with that too.
That's lovely actually.
Yeah.
Because you could take it slow. You could take it one step at a time
and
then figure it out. But you have gotten an investment and you've got an investment and a funding of 65K.
Yes.
And when I read that, I was like, wow. Okay. Tell us the process. Tell us what went behind that, everything.
Yeah. So because my businesses have been social impact focused, I've been able to raise grant funding for the businesses. And that is an area, an avenue that I never really thought was possible for me. I kind of stumbled into it. And I first got my kind of big amount of funding through Virgin Money. It was a Young Changemaker program back in 2022. And I literally saw an Instagram ad for this opportunity to apply for it and thought, why not? Let's give it a go. I saw it on the last day of the applications being open. I had to write like 3,000 words. I was like, right, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to apply. And off the back of that, I secured £15,000 for business, which was amazing. And also like a accelerator program to help me develop the business. And that from there then unlocked so many other opportunities that introduced me to other funders. And it made me see what was possible through getting support like grant funding to help you grow your business. That was targeted at under 25s at the time. So if you're a young entrepreneur, then definitely look out for opportunities like that. But there's so many ways that grant funding can help unlock things in your business that is not just the money wise. Like it can actually help you find like-minded people. It can help you like learn more about how to structure your business or connect with the right people too. And like I said, that first funding kind of snowballed that process of raising even more. And that opened my eyes to the world of social impact as well and what was possible there. So yes.
That's really nice because so you started from a really low fund and then you moved up your way because you drew the confidence of, where you needed, what do you need exactly, what do you want? And it's one step at a time and then you move forward. But then in the very beginning, so you saw that ad.
Yeah.
So a lot of people go through imposter syndrome.
Absolutely.
Really common.
Yeah.
Really lonely as a founder, all of it. How do you go one step ahead of that and you say, no, I'm going to apply for this funding and I'm going to write 3,000 words,
Yeah.
all of the details, the proposal, and then just submit it? What went behind that?
I think you really have to believe in your idea. And I think having a social impact focused business, you're often thinking about the people that you want to help and it's not about you. So sometimes you have to get out of your own way and think, let me put this bid in for this funding to see whether I could then help more people by securing that funding. So when you take yourself out of that equation, you think, actually, I'm going to be able to help so many people off the back of this, then it makes it a little bit easier as well. So thinking about that bigger picture, I always think, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, I get rejected. Okay, doesn't work. I've not lost anything really other than a few hours of writing the proposal that I could have used on something else, but actually the opportunities that it's opened up for me were so worth it. So imposter syndrome is really difficult, but I've just found like taking small steps each time towards the next biggest thing has really helped me overcome that and get out of my own way too. So yeah, it is really a process.
Yeah, especially in the start, I think imposter syndrome is really, really, it's a really great area there. But you started at 17.
Yeah.
I wonder how it would be for you.
Yeah.
No doubt, like with anxiety and panic attacks and then imposter. It must be so hard for you, Emma.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't easy, 100%. Like, it was really challenging, but I think having anxiety often makes you really have to focus on your mindset and your mental health. And I did a lot of work, probably at a very young age, around my own mental health and reframing that mindset just so I could do basic things that normal people would just take for granted. And that built a lot of mental resilience that helped me as I've gone through my career as well. So it was, 100% really difficult. But I think if you've got a vision for something in the future that you really want to work towards, that can kind of be your North Star that you can aim towards as well. So it gives you a reason to keep going and keep moving forward. So I think that's definitely helped me.
100%. And then you've helped multiple people with anxiety.
Yes. Yeah. And that's really rewarding for me as well. Like seeing people, I mean, most clients that I work with have experienced anxiety in one shape or form. But I think what's really interesting about it is often I don't know they've got anxiety until they start working with me and then they open up about it. And it's so common that I'd say most people experience anxiety of some form and it's really difficult to manage. But I think if you've got that goal, you've got that bigger vision, you're able to kind of reframe a lot of the thoughts around it and challenge yourself to overcome that anxiety as well. But it's not easy to live with and it's a huge part of everyday life and you kind of have to manage it and with what you do. But I think it makes you so much more resilient as well.
100%. And I think with like in the recent years, especially after COVID, we've started speaking about it more openly. Everybody's social awareness is there. You're helping people out. And that's so lovely because you really do get lonely in a lot of different aspects of life. And that's where anxiety stems from most of the time.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody to talk to,
yeah,
that's a blessing, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think overthinking is like very, very common, especially with business owners, founders, people doing their own thing. If you're on your own all the time, you're on your own with your thoughts all the time as well. So it's very easy to get caught up in what you're thinking about, what you're doing, like, are you on the right track? Should you put your energy in the right places? So yeah, overthinking can cause anxiety too. So yeah, I think it is really important to have people that you can talk to, whether that's online, in person, to share your ideas, whether it's getting a mentor that can support you. But yeah, having somebody there to help break that overthinking cycle is really useful.
How do you help people or founders with navigating this journey with anxiety? How do you help them? Tell us the process behind that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a qualified therapist or anything. I go off my own experience. I'm not going to cure people's anxiety as much as I would love to. I really talk about it from understanding their perspective, understanding where they're coming from, using my own personal experience and like being empathetic as well, to understand how they're feeling. So usually it's just breaking down the kind of the building blocks to build up to that anxiety. So say, for example, I have a client that's afraid of posting on LinkedIn. They're terrified, but they really want to use it to grow their business. It's breaking down, okay, what's the reason why you're feeling so anxious? And is it because of the people that might see it? Is it that there's somebody in particular that is going to make you feel more anxious if they comment on the post or they see the post? Usually that is a big one. Or is it that you feel like you're not qualified enough? Okay, what could you do to reframe that? And really looking at all the work that they've done to build up their confidence to help them take that step to posting. And it's kind of holding their hand through that process as well, like getting them to send posts before they share it so I can read it and like give them that confidence that it's a good post, it's good to share. But often it's like these small steps, like posting on LinkedIn to some people might seem so easy, whereas some people it might have been built up in their head that it's an absolute huge ordeal that's going to be the end of the world if people don't engage with it. But actually it's like just breaking down this process to help them see what is possible, and just being in their corner really to support them along the way as well.
That's so interesting because we think that the whole social life is really easy to some people, and to some it's really difficult. For example, I've had clients who do not want to be on the video side of things.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's a real big thing if they go on a video and they talk about it. And I'm super proud of them if they do it. But the fact that it's breaking down into steps. Okay, you start with posting, you show us the post, you see how involved your audience is. They love you, they adore you. There's nothing out there that's negative right now. And you could take that step towards that. But I think it's so interesting. I work with like anxiety and holding people's hand and it's just being empathetic with them. And I think that's what's needed in the world right now.
Absolutely. I think it's a bit of a superpower as well. I think for a long time, I thought being empathetic, being quite sensitive, being like understanding of people was a bit more of a weakness, especially in the kind of more hardcore business world where it's very much stern. You should talk about numbers and facts and figures. Whereas I feel like being empathetic is a bit of a superpower, that you're able to understand people, really see where they're coming from, understand them beyond maybe what they even understand themselves before they come into the session. So yeah, I think it's definitely needed, especially now.
Yeah, 100%. So you've worked in like the calm and the wellness industry.
Yeah.
So what's the least calm thing about that whole journey?
Oh, good question. I suppose when I started out with the Calming Club and then I ended up working with clients in the wellbeing space off the back of that, that was very, very early on in my entrepreneurship journey. So I had very little experience. I was figuring it all out as I was going along, and often thrown into situations where I had to really fake it till I made it and like go, oh yeah, I really understand this, while I'm like figuring it out and making it work. So I think that was the hardest part. Managing client relationships was quite challenging as well. Often if they've got anxiety or they've got stress that they put onto you, how do you manage that if you also have anxiety, and how can you stay professional in those environments as well? So yeah, it's been navigating, especially like I mentioned before, building a business during lockdown.
Yeah,
that was huge. That was a challenge of figuring out, okay, how do I make this work when I can't go out and meet people? Like, how do I grow the business? And things are always changing and adapting because of different rules and regulations. So I feel like over the last 5 years, it's been a really interesting time to build businesses because there's been so much change. So yeah, I'd say that's probably been the most challenging thing.
In regards to your clients, Emma, do you get clients off LinkedIn or do you get clients from networking with people? What's your process with that?
I'd say it's a mixture of both. I find that I get clients off LinkedIn and networking, and they also work hand in hand as well. So if I go to a networking event, meet somebody, I nurture them through LinkedIn. So they'll see my content. They'll be like, okay, you know what you're talking about. You've got proof of concept that you know what you're doing. And they want me to do that for them as well in terms of managing their LinkedIn or their personal brand. So it really helps them to see it in action and me showing them that I know what I'm talking about. And I approach my content creation very much from a storytelling perspective. So really building that founder or that business owner into that thought leader that they want to be as well. So yeah, I find it's a combination of the two that help me get clients.
That's really nice. So you've done businesses for a really long time, 5-6 businesses. It's been a good long time. You've had your journey. Now tell us, the phrase self-made, self-made, gets thrown out a lot.
Yeah.
Do you actually believe in that?
See, I think it's a really interesting one. I think, and when I chose the business name, this was 3 years ago now, like I was probably in a very different headspace. I think I had felt like the first business I built was self-made. Like it was mainly me because it was, like I said, during lockdown, it was me working on my own and seeing what's possible. I do think you are self-made by the opportunities that you say yes to and how you work on yourself and push yourself out there. Because I'd say like most people have an idea for a business that they want to start, but probably only 5%, 10% of people actually want to do take action. So the self-made aspect of that is really important to me, because you can't just have an idea and hope that it's going to work. Like, you do have to put the work in. But in terms of self-made being a solo journey, I think you can and you need to work with other people to help you get to where you want to go. You can't do it solo. So I'd say I'm on the fence about how I feel about self-made. I definitely feel like it is a really important part of the journey, but it's not in the sense of having to do everything on your own. You need people there to support you too.
100%. So a lot of people give a lot of advices when you first step into the business, which is absolutely amazing. But do you take on all of those advices, or do you think about those advices and then filter them out to the ones that you really need?
Yeah, I think definitely that now. I think when I was in the beginning and I didn't really know much, I'd probably take on everybody's advice. I think you also have to be careful who is giving you that advice. Have they built a business? Like, have they worked in the industry that you're in? Or are they maybe a family member that has never run a business in their life and they're acting or giving you advice out of fear maybe as well, or their own beliefs, because people often project their own beliefs onto you as well. So I think you have to be really careful who you take advice from. And now I'm definitely more selective, because especially in this day and age, there's so many distractions. Like, you could go down so many different routes with the business. Like, every day you could be changing it for a different person's piece of advice, but you have to really pick the one that feels right for you and then invest in that and not try and change your path too often as well. So yeah, I'd say be careful over what advice you take.
Okay. So because I represent like the messy middle and the chaos and the unhinged, and you've seen it for yourself today, and you represent like super calm.
Oh, goodness.
Which goes perfectly.
Yeah.
But what's that one chaotic thing that you did in the whole journey that worked wonders for you?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I suppose, I mean, maybe it's chaotic. That is going self-employed straight out of uni. So not getting a full-time job, not going into industry, not kind of taking anything on and just going, okay, I'm going to believe in this business and I'm going to give this a go. And that was 4 years ago now, and I'm still going, still. So I think to everybody else, like I haven't really met anybody else that has gone through that path of like leaving uni straight away into a business. And I think a lot of people look at me going, that's absolutely insane. So that probably is chaotic to some people. And it felt like it at the time. It felt like a huge risk of like, let's see what happens, see where this goes. But I've just tried to say like, let's just see, let's just enjoy the process. Let's see what happens and see where it takes me. So,
I love that. See, that worked out for you.
yeah, exactly. Chaos.
But I think, just like by speaking with you, I think that was the best thing that you did.
Yeah.
Because there were less responsibilities.
Yeah.
You're straight out of uni. Your parents could help you out.
Yeah.
And you were young.
Yeah.
So you could learn quickly. Now, look at you. Yeah. So I think universities should actually do that with the self-employed thing.
Yeah, I think it definitely wasn't encouraged at the time. Like I said, it was a bit of a weird thing to do for most people. Like, you should get more experience. I think that's one piece of advice I heard quite a lot at the start is you should go and get experience in an industry before you start a business. And I definitely think that is a route to learning how to do it. But I also don't think you need to. You can figure it out on your own. I mean, I work with clients as well, so I was able to learn from that process too. But yeah, I think it's kind of following what feels right to you, and you just got to explore an idea. But like you said, in your 20s, like when you're straight out of uni, you haven't got that risk, so you might as well just give it a go and see what happens.
So because you were so young that you started the business, do you think that you'd outgrown the business before you actually believe that you've outgrown the business?
Ooh, interesting. I think especially with the Calming Club, I think I got to a point where, because it was so tied up with my own mental health as well, like having to share like things that I learned or like updating people. If I was maybe struggling a little bit, I felt like a bit of a fraud, because I was like, oh, well, I'm running this business trying to help people, but my mental health is maybe taking a bit of a dip. How do I deal with that? I think I got to a point where I really wanted to grow something that was beyond me and could help other people as well. I was really interested in the entrepreneurship careers space as well, which is how I started Studio Self-Made, which was to help like early stage entrepreneurs, freelancers get started in the industry. And then now it's progressed into the personal branding space, because I feel like that is the best way that entrepreneurs and freelancers can actually build fulfilling, sustainable careers. So yeah, I feel like I outgrew the Calming Club, and that allowed me to progress into the next business as well.
Okay, I have this one question written for you, which I don't know if you should answer or not.
Okay, interesting.
The most unfounder-like thing about you.
Ooh. I suppose that I'm naturally risk averse. So I think that's quite interesting. When I hear a lot of founders on podcasts, I think they normally say, oh yeah, take this risk, or I spent loads of money here, or whatever it is. And I'm very cautious. Like I'm very like, think it through, like have a whole plan. So I think naturally, especially on anxiety as well, overthinking every decision, I would avoid risk and I play it safe. Whereas I've really had to work on, how do I push myself out of my comfort zone? How do I take that next step? How do I make it work for me? Having people around you that can push you and challenge you is really good as well. So I'd say that's probably the most confounder thing.
Yeah. But I really think that you risk averse because of the fact that your family was not into business and you were the first one to take those steps. It's always difficult for the first one to do anything different.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you're doing something different to everybody else, and like I was saying before, like at the start, I didn't have anyone around me that was doing it. So I suppose I was looking around thinking everybody else is playing it safe. I should be playing it safe. But when you start to add founders, business owners, people doing amazing things to your network, that's when you can see, okay, that is possible. Maybe I could do that. So yeah.
100%. So because I took the recent decision of going with Plot Out Loud, the most traditional route for me, Emma, was that I came here on student visa, I get a traditional job, I get sponsored and stay here. And now that I've risked everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that I'm supposed to learn at this stage of my life, because I think it's important. Yeah,
absolutely. Sometimes you just have to take that risk, don't you? And be like, actually, I really want to see whether this idea could work. And like we were saying before, like, you just don't know what's going to happen unless you actually try and make that idea a reality. So it's really good that you've done it.
Yeah. I am not built for traditional routes. I don't think so.
Me neither. No.
We're the main character.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I feel like and I think I've realized that more and more since I've been building the business, that I don't like being told what to do. I like having my own ideas. I like being able to explore things. And that does come with risk. It does come with the risk of failure or the pressure of having to make it work. But actually, it's so worth it to have that freedom over what you want to do.
Well, I think when you're a creative and when you're in that field, 9 to 5, you could do 9 to 5 to get experience and to learn from it. I've done 9 to 5 for like 6 years in marketing. But there comes a time when you know for a fact that this is not serving your creative side of things.
Yes.
This is serving my creative side of things. Yeah. Where I absolutely bring unhinged questions to my guest.
Those have been great questions. So making me think, which is really good.
Okay. So the question that we ask everybody.
Yes.
What is the biggest plot twist of your life?
Ooh. That is a very good question. So I think it is starting a business. I feel like that is the biggest plot twist for me, because like I said, like I took very kind of more academic subjects, a creative subject as well, but thought I would maybe go down the route of a traditional career, kind of always strive to get really good grades, which doesn't really matter in entrepreneurship. And you often hear a lot of entrepreneurs say they literally failed school or they dropped out of school. So from that perspective, I suppose I wasn't on the traditional path of entrepreneurship. But I think starting a business and then lockdown happening and going, actually, let's make this a thing. So that was my placement year, and then went into final year, carried on running the business throughout final year, and then graduated as self-employed. That's completely changed my life. I think it's changed me as a person, hopefully for the better, and like maybe really care about people, really want to make an impact and see what's possible. And it's also transformed my anxiety as well, because it's constantly pushed me out of my comfort zone. So I've had to work on my mental health. I've had to work on my mindset and how I actually look after my mental health as well. So yeah, I'd say that's the biggest one.
Yeah, I think it was very brave of you to take that step.
Yeah,
honestly,
thank you.
Because imagine if you didn't.
Yeah,
you'd be doing a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You'd be towards a very different journey.
Yes, yeah. it'd be very interesting to see how that parallel universe played out and see what happened. But I'm really happy that I've been able to help loads of founders and freelancers and people that are starting out on their journey as well by going down this route. So yeah, it's been really rewarding for me, and I'm so happy that I believed in myself in the beginning. Just go, let's just see what happens with this, and followed that.
So this is not related to this section, but I've never seen you talk about the turnover of your business on LinkedIn. I've never seen you talk about all of these things that are very LinkedIn guru things.
Yes.
Although you have a good influence on LinkedIn, Emma.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that?
Oh, I don't know. I think maybe to me it's not as important. Like I said before, like I am very story-led, heart-led, I suppose, human-centered. Like, and don't get me wrong, like the business making money is really important, and I do have to put that part of my head on and think, actually, okay, how do I make sure that the business is growing and developing? So I suppose for me, I don't feel the need to shout about the numbers as much. Maybe it's being a woman in business as well, and maybe we play those things down quite a lot too. I'm going into a new phase of the business now, so there might be more of a shift, but I still want to keep that kind of human-led approach to the business and what I do. Obviously, like we spoke about, raising grant funding, that's been a huge part of the journey too. So yeah, I've talked about it from that perspective, and often that inspires a lot of the people, especially the young people that I work with, to see how can I apply for funding? How can I make that happen? And I really look at personal branding as a long game. Like, I think it's an investment for the long term. Like, I see this playing out and rewarding me in years and years and years to come as well. So yeah, I feel like that's probably why I've not mentioned it.
Yeah, just by you speaking that, I have like 3 more questions.
Go for it.
Okay. What do you think is one of the biggest things that women downplay as founders?
I definitely think we downplay our expertise and our success. And I think sometimes it depends on how you come across as well. But I often get underestimated quite a lot when networking or meeting people, or even like if I've been invited to do talks or speak about a subject, I will be underestimated as soon as I walk in the room. And people will tell me afterwards that they did underestimate me, and now they've completely changed their opinion because they've seen that I've proven that I know what I'm talking about. I know, it's mad. And I think there's a lot of, especially being a young female entrepreneur, I think you face these biases that you might not even notice or see.
Yeah.
So I think it is important that we shout about our success. That's why I believe in personal branding so much, because nobody's going to promote you as much as you'll promote yourself. So you really have to be your biggest advocate too. So I would say, like, the more you can get yourself out there, the more you can share in your ideas, you're on people's radar, you'll prove your expertise, you'll prove your worth, and people will start to see that you do know what you're talking about and they should trust you. So yeah, I feel like that's one thing that women struggle with often is putting themselves out there and actually getting people to listen to them as well.
Okay. I'm a very newbie founder, like really newbie. So what advice would you give me?
Ooh, I think you're already doing it with doing a podcast. Like, you're getting your voice heard, like you're creating a platform for yourself and for other founders, businesses, people that work in the industry to have a voice. You're sharing your ideas, so you're already doing it. It's just having the confidence to keep putting yourself out there. And maybe like networking. Do you do networking as well? Do you in like networking events? You do that sort of stuff. So I think it's all that kind of thing. And one thing that I speak about quite a lot with my clients is like developing a signature talk or a signature series. And I think if you can develop something that you can be known for, then you get remembered as well. So that's one thing I'd recommend. But you're already doing it. You're already making progress. You're having these conversations, which is amazing.
With such amazing people, honestly. Okay, so what's one story from your business life that never made it to LinkedIn?
Ooh. You want all the juicy details.
We want the tea.
So one story that's never made it to LinkedIn. Oh, I don't know what I can tell you. No. I suppose, I think along the way, I obviously have been a team of one, and I've tried to grow the business in different ways along the journey. I had loads of different interns, freelancers that have worked with me. And I think that has been a huge learning experience, both for me and for the people that I work with as well. And I think that's really taught me a lot around finding that right fit for the business. And now I'm at the stage where I've taken on somebody more full time in the business, who was a business advisor for me for the last 6 years. And really finding that right fit with that person is really important. And a year before that, I found an amazing freelancer that's helped me with content too. So I found that it's so important to find the right people along the way to support you. And maybe people aren't the right fit. And I definitely think one piece of advice that I've heard recently is like hire slow, fire fast. And I think I could have fired faster or moved on from people quicker, but I really focused on, I suppose, putting the people first and maybe not the business. So that's probably a story, is like making sure you get the right fit, really testing those freelancers that you work with before you take them on to make sure actually they are the right fit for the business. And that's just a huge learning curve of somebody that's gone self-employed straight out of uni, never had a team, and has then had to try and learn how to manage a team from that perspective. So yeah, I suppose that's a little bit of a story.
Yeah, that's really good. What's one thing that's non-negotiable for you?
In general, in business or
In business.
in business?
And in general.
In general. Here we go. We want it all. We want it all. So non-negotiable for business. I suppose from a business perspective, in terms of how I choose the clients that I work with, they have to care about people and they have to have a business that is making a positive impact in some way. I think that's a really important part of what I do. Like, I couldn't morally work with a business that I didn't feel like was having a positive impact, or they were only doing things for the sake of it. So say they were trying to have a positive impact on the surface, but actually underneath they didn't really care and it wasn't really important to them. So working with genuine people that genuinely care about the things that they're passionate about is really important for me. So yeah, I'd say that's a non-negotiable.
That's nice. That's the business side. What's
the personal side? I'd say being able to listen is a non-negotiable for me. So finding people that can really listen, actively listen, and care about what other people think. I think, unfortunately, maybe this is since lockdown, since COVID, but people have become a lot more self-focused and self-centered, and they forget to ask questions and really care about people. So I'd say being around and surrounding myself with people that are open-minded and really listen to people has been really important for me.
That is important.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's one truth that you live by, no matter what?
So
when no one's watching.
When no one's watching. So,
Yeah.
I say, like, this might be a boring one, but I'm always learning. Like, I don't feel like I'll ever get to a point where I know everything. And I think so I'm always like, I don't know, watching a random YouTube video, listening to a podcast, like trying to, like, late at night I'll be having thoughts about things and making notes that I can pick up on the next day. So I'll always be trying, like, learn new things and think that I can still develop my skills. And I suppose that's one thing I speak about to my mentees and the people that I work with, is that I'm not going to say that I know everything. Like, I have got experience, I've got an understanding, I've got a depth of knowledge, but I'm going to constantly learn and try and test new things so that I can keep developing as a person as well. So that's one truth that I'll always live by.
That's so true, though, because I think you can learn from anybody, no matter the age, no matter the experience.
Yeah.
That's so important. All right. What is this chapter of your life called?
Ooh, I feel like I'm going into a new chapter at the moment, which is really exciting, with the business expanding and kind of taking this next step. And I think my word for the year, or my 2 words for the year, have been like, be bold. So I'd say, like, this chapter is about being bold and taking bold actions, and I have it as a screensaver on my phone. So I'm getting reminded of it every single day. And I think it's when I'm trying to hold myself back, I see that reminder and I think, okay, what's the bold action I can take here? So
that is the title of this episode.
Yeah.
Be bold.
Love that.
All right. If you could dedicate this episode to one person, imaginary, real, anybody, celebrity, ever, your dedication.
So I was having a little think about this, and I think it works really nicely with what we've spoken about here. And I don't know whether it's self-centered, I'm going to say it anyway, but I would dedicate it to that 17
I love
version
that.
of me. Because I think if I could literally like deliver this episode to her, she would be like, what on earth has happened? But I think that would be really powerful. And I think anybody that's young and starting a business or thinking about pursuing a career that's maybe not normal in their family or in the people that they're around, I think that's who I'd dedicate this to.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to add one more question here. What's one advice that you'd like to give to the people?
Ooh, what advice? I would say really figure out what your why is. Like that's one thing that's been really helpful for me. And that was the question I was going to ask you actually, was what is your why? But I'd say like whenever I'm working with clients around personal branding, I suppose the unique selling point of what I do with Studio Self-Made is really understanding what makes you tick. What is your why? What is your purpose behind what you do? And I'd say really figuring that out will help you understand the direction that you want to go in and help you build that fulfilling career as well. So yeah, that is what I would recommend.
Okay, we're on for the mic flip question. You can ask me whatever you want.
So that was my question. It was going to be, what is your why? Like, what is your purpose? Why do you do what you do?
So, you know that for a fact that my background is in marketing.
Yes.
Right? Everything I've done all my life has been in marketing. Since 16, I was like curled up in my bed, reading magazine, delivering blogs, ghostwritten. And I knew that for a fact that if we look at that trajectory of life, it would be a marketing agency or a freelance agency or something of that sort.
Yeah.
But my why is humans connecting with people, knowing them on like a personal level, bringing their stories, learning about their journeys. Fun fact is when I came to Manchester, super new as a student, was sitting on Oxford Station. A guy came to me, sat next to me, asked me for a lighter if I had one. I said, no, I'm sorry. Didn't have one. Told me his whole life story. And that really happens to me quite a lot. Has happened to me on every stage of life. So why not here?
Yeah, I love that. Now you're creating a platform for those conversations as well.
To everybody. Yeah. It's not about, so I've got people who are an apprentice who shifted their career from medical to marketing.
Interesting.
And from medical to freelance, different shift of careers need to be talked about. People need to listen to that. That would have benefited 17-year-old Emma or 16-year-old Eraj.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love that. I feel like we're very similar in that sense. Yeah. That it's all about people and it's about their stories. So yeah, it's really powerful. I love that.
Perfect. And we are wearing the main character shirts. So we are the main character, obviously. Perfect. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I really hope you liked the episode. I really hope you liked it.
No, they were really good, really thought-provoking. So I really like that.
Perfect. Thank you.